Welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs, and this is the League of Ireland weekly show with myself and Keane Menton as usual. And this week we're getting into predictions, so we're going to predict the Premier Division and the First Division tables. Keane has that job this week, but we start off with a bit of sad news. Keane, if you want to get into that first.
Yeah, no. Yesterday we heard the passing of Dundalk groundsman and videographer Harry Taff, and Harry was well known throughout the league from players, staff, fans. Like, Harry was the life and soul of Dundalk, especially in the dark days. I got to know Harry, I'd say, in around the 2012 season, which was a poor enough season for Dundalk, but he was the life and soul of the Save Our Club. And, Harry was just very infectious to have around the league. And obviously the news broke yesterday that he was missing, and it's not what you want to hear. And then we found out the news nobody wanted. So just the thoughts are with his family, his friends, and everyone connected with Dundalk. And Harry will be missed, but he won't be forgotten.
Yeah, definitely condolences to the family, and it's great though the way people like that, the success that he would have seen, after that, which is fantastic, because people like that who deserve to see success at their clubs, isn't it, as well? But yeah, condolences to the family, and so we'll get on to the First Division, Cian. We'll start with 10th. I think we're better off starting at the bottom. It makes it more interesting, I think, but you're going to annoy somebody, so go ahead.
I'm never going to keep anyone happy, and that's the joy of it. So I'd like to hear the comments underneath. It's never nice trying to predict the team that's going to finish the bottom of the First Division starting off, but I've gone for Athlone, simply because of just like the way they're very much amateur, and like they're not a team that should be up the top end of the table, and I don't think anyone would agree with that or disagree with that. But I think, I've gone for Athlone at the bottom, and I can't really see past them, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously Adrian Carberry is there, and he knows the club and that kind of thing. He's the manager, and it really is a project that they're trying to start to build something at Athlone. And I think you're right.
I'm not going to be critical of them at all. What they've done there, they've started from the youth right up. They have some fantastic underage League of Ireland teams. It's a real club environment there again. Like, I know a lot of the underage coaches, and Athlone, they're not going to be there for long. I do think it is a project. It's going to take time, but for now, for the rest of this season, I can see them finishing 10th.
Yeah, funnily enough, I'd have them 10th as well. Like, I mightn't give away all my predictions, but I would have them 10th because of that. And I do think their club is decent potential as well. It's a good football in town, Athlone, and they just need to get back to basics maybe, and work with Athlone IT. Yeah, and work with Athlone IT. And I know Carberry has cited the importance of getting local businesses back into Athlone, into the club, and I think that's something they've lacked over maybe in the last few years, which has kind of caught them out a little bit. So potential there, but we'll move on to 9th, Keane.
9th, I've gone for Shamrock Rovers, the second team. Like, they're a second team for a reason. They're there to get games and get, like, if every club was able to have a second team, they'd be doing very well. It is, you can see both sides of the argument, but it's good to have Shamrock Rovers in there producing players that are going on to different players or different clubs in the league, and they could progress at other clubs. Like are a lot of them really going to make the first team? I'm not sure, but to see them coming in, I can't really put them past 9th.
Yeah, looking at it from their point of view, it's obviously great because they can produce players and they're playing competitive games that they wouldn't normally be playing, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You'd argue, why can't other clubs then do the same? Like, you know what I mean? I'd say we'll take Bohemians as an example, a rival club. I know Vinnie Perth has talked about it, hasn't he? He said he'd love to have a Dundalk second team in it. But if you start overloading the league with second teams...
No, you don't want that.
You don't want that either, but it opened up a can of worms a little bit because other clubs can say, well, why can they do it? Why can't we? That's the only issue.
For me,
I would say this, though. They might be gone after a season. We're not sure. Chance Limerick FC will be back. So if it's a case of putting the finger in the dike type thing, fair enough. I'm happy to get the 10 teams in, that kind of way.
Yeah, no, 100%. We want Limerick back. What a fantastic club Limerick are. The fans are great. We want Limerick back. I think the argument, if everyone wants a B team, maybe they could have a reserve league. There's other ways around it, but I hope Shamrock Rovers aren't there for a long time in that division.
No, I'd be surprised if they were. And we call it a B team, but it's generally an under 20, 21-ish team.
Yeah.
So you could say with a lot of probably 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds there. Maybe a large part of it's under 19s actually as well. On to, where are we now? We're on to 8, aren't we? Yeah.
I've gone for Wexford in 8.
Yeah.
I think that's a fairly reasonable position. I think they'd be happy with that. They're doing, like I said, they're doing fantastic work right through the youth sections with the underages, the 19, stuff like that. They're doing fantastic work there. I think they could be a force, no doubt. I think Mick Wallace is down there. He loves the club. I don't know whether they would be that low in coming years, but for the rest of this season, I think 8 to be a reasonable and fair position that I think everyone would be happy with at Wexford.
Yeah, they had a disaster last season at 10 points. They had 2 wins all season and a fair few hammerings. Now, early on, they have 2 points out of 3 games, and they've been competitive in all the games. I know Brian O'Sullivan's brought in a lot of new players. Connor English, for example, good signing there. Dan Tobin came in from UCD as well. And Carl Fitzsimon's another young player as well. So they brought in a lot of players. And obviously, he's really got the chance now to try and mould a team. And you say they might finish 8, you could be right, but they're going to be very competitive, unlike last season. So there's definitely good signs, even if they finish lowly for Wexford this season. So on to 7th, Cian.
I've gone for Cove in 7th.
Yeah.
I think that's a reasonable position for them. Like I'm saying to everyone, I think it's like trying to predict. You can't predict it. But I think Cove will finish 7th. They'd be happy with that. I can't see why they wouldn't. Can they push up into them playoffs? They could. It's one of these divisions. At Long win 3 games, they're up with a playoff shout. They lose 3 in the 10th. It is like that's what it's like through the Premier Division as well. But I think Cove 7th. They're building a side down there. I think they're doing things the right way. They're very much involved with the Cove community. Cove 7th for me.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of great work down there actually as well. The key thing for Cove is very difficult to keep their best players, let's be honest. Dave Hurley is there, and I know he's in UCC, so it suits him to be at Cove, but he's definitely a Premier Division player. 21-year-old midfielder, box to box, very good young player.
Yeah.
They have some good players there, young players. Phillips, Malloy, 2 more players that are under 21 as well. And as you say, they are trying to do things the right way. It probably makes it harder, this prediction, the fact that there are 18 games as well, as opposed to a full-length season. So, we've said this before, but there could be a surprise or two. It kind of gives the idea that there could be a surprise or two after 18 games. I'm not sure what the first division exactly looked like after 18 games last season, but I do know Longford were top, for example, and Shelbourne won the league quite comfortably in the end. So we have a lot of examples of that as well. So Cove, as you say, they're very well-run club, and Stuart Ashton's got a good reputation there. He coached Cork as well, underage, I think. And you have them in at, where are we? 7th. Yeah, there were 6 last season, which they did very well. Finished 6, by the way. Now on to 6.
We've gone for Galway. Now I think Galway would be bitterly disappointed if they do finish 6th. Personally, a club like Galway should be fighting for promotion every season. There's no doubt about it. I think they're big enough. They have the community. They have the facilities. They have everything they need to be going for the title. But it's a
lovely ground, isn't it, Galway?
It's fantastic. Terryland is fantastic. Yeah, I love going down there. They used to have us over the main stand, over where the dugouts used to be, up in the corner. But lately now, when we've been on down, they moved us across. It was where the old dressing rooms were as such. But it was fantastic over there now, and I always look a trip to Galway. So I think they're doing the right things down there. They are. They have a Galway man there who loves the club, and look, I think 6 to be disappointing this year, but like we said, there's 14 games left or something. They can.
Yeah. They've played 2 games themselves and got 2 points.
Yeah.
So had can't remember the first one, but I know they drew 0-0 with Shamrock Rovers B. But if you remember, there was a lot of complaints about the weather and the players. Didn't they? More or less, they had
Hypothermia.
Hypothermia, yeah. It's just mental, like, isn't it? Obviously, it wasn't a game to be playing football in, so you couldn't judge their start over 2 games and that. But I think they're building.
And I think every fan and every player now will take hypothermia after this playing football now, no problem. But,
yeah.
no, exactly. I think Galway, they're doing things the right way. They have a good mixture of youth and experience in there, bringing the likes of Slingerman back. Like, Slingerman is good enough for a Premier Division club. Like, you get in the team of the year, what was it, 2014, I think?
Yeah.
2014, sorry. It was the year after Clarkey got in 2014. But, like, they got relegated that year, I think, as well. Yeah. And he was just fantastic. So to have Slingerman back in that division will work wonders for him. And I honestly, genuinely think Galway, like, I say 6th, but they could easily be 3rd, You just don't know.
They could. I think they lack a bit of firepower, though. I think they've Shane Duggan in midfield, excellent signing. He came in from Waterford, and they've got a young guy in midfield as well, Higgins, who's Donald Higgins, right, highly. Haven't seen him play himself.
Vinnie Farty, known goal scorer. Actually played in goal against Sligo, I believe. There was an injury to Horgan, and he ended up going in, without Vinny. But, they have some good players there, and, Galway, they could come up through the playoffs, who knows?
They could do. It depends if it gels for them or not. Yeah. So into the top 5 now. 5th.
Top 5, it was very hard. Toss a coin between 5th and 4th for me. I think 5th UCD. That's, I think, a solid enough position for them, considering look at the players they lost in the last 18 months as such. UCD be happy with 5th, and they always do things the right way. They always play football, but from a fan's point of view, I want them to stay in the 1st division. I'm not. I just hate going to UCD. As a fan, I think teams do as well. It's a home away from home for everyone with the support. I know it's tough. Look, they're a college. They're not going to have 20,000 fans or 5,000 fans, whatever it may be. They're not going to get that. Yeah. But I hope personally UCD stay in the 1st division.
They're a club though that they have an advantage in terms of they always have good players that produce, and some of the players they've lost in the last 12 months or so, they always have replacements. Like they've Josh.
100%. Like, I know I'm after giving them a bit of stick there, but like they are the club that produces these players in the league, like Bermo, Greg Bulgers. I can go on and on for hours around and things. There's so many players that have come from UCD and are an asset to the league. They really are, and like I think they're fantastic in that sense. But as a supporter, I can't go to UCD. I just don't like it at all.
It is a bit soulless, I have to say now, in fairness. But I think from the team point of view, I think what happens to them as well, they lack that bit of experience that they can never really bring in, because in the old days UCD could actually bring players in also, if you know what I mean, from outside the college. They can't do that now, so it's a difficult one for the likes of Andy Myler and that, who's managing the side at the moment, because he's got such a young squad. But as he said to me before when I done the interview with him, young players make mistakes, so you find they get a lot of hidings. So if something goes wrong, they find it difficult to look at each other and get each other going in the game, and they haven't got that experience, and they never will have that experience really, because it's a college, it's young men players, but at the same time they're always producing players, so they know what you're going to get when you're going in to manage UCD. The game.
100%. And I think obviously Martin and Collie over the last few years have put in some fantastic work there now. And they've laid the foundation. Martin definitely laid the foundations down. What he done at UCD, and then Collie obviously came in, and he let's be honest, like if he kept the team now, they could be nearly challenging for Europe. It's fantastic. They're never gonna hold on to the players though, so there's no point in making statements like that. But I think they're an asset to the league, but hopefully they stay 5th.
Right, we'll move on to fourth.
Fourth, like it's toss of a coin. I've gone for Bray in fourth. The reason I've gone for Bray in fourth is because I think the squad lacks a lot of depth. Like they have the likes of Gary Shaw, Arden Barty at the back, Paul Keegan. They have fantastic Premier Division players, but do I think they have a squad over 18 games? Yes. Do I think they have a squad over 30 games or whatever it is? No. So I think this short season will definitely help Bray 100% with a small squad. I think they'll finish fourth, but they could easily finish first. I don't think it's going to be run away like last year in the slightest.
No,
Um,
I think there's too few games for anyone to run
yeah,
away with.
that's it exactly.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think the games are going to be decided by beating the teams around you. I know it's stupid. I know it probably sounds stupid,
But
but
even now, that's even more important than
yeah,
ever.
like
Yeah.
if Bray beat Cabinteely beat Drogheda, you know what I mean? It's open, and that's why we like football. We don't want it to be predictable. We want to sit here and make predictions. We want to be half right at least, but we do want a few shocks, and I think Bray could definitely have a few shocks. It's always a tough place to go. Like I've never, I've been out there with Pats. I can't tell you how many times, and I've never seen an easy game. They always probably end up nearly nicking a draw, beating us mainly 9 times out of 10. They're what they do out there now lately, especially with Niall in there and what he's doing with the club. There's a togetherness. They've over 500 season ticket holders. Like that's phenomenal for a club like Bray. I think they're doing things the right way. There's no doubt with the link with Joey's and stuff like that. There's absolutely no doubt they're going to be in the Premier Division soon. And I like Bray. I think Bray and UCD are nearly everybody's second teams. Like in Dublin, I know Bray are in Wicklow, but like they're kind of nearly everyone's second team. Nobody likes going out there though to play them.
I think what it is with Bray, you know what it is as well, they don't really have a rival as such. I know Cabinteely have emerged a little bit in recent years because
Yeah,
it's not Cabinteely's in South Dublin, in case people don't know, but it's not too far from Bray. So, but in general, they haven't had any rivals down through the years. When you think about it, there hasn't
no,
been any big derby match. Now, the Cabinteely one has kind of manufactured as such because of Pat Devlin as well, and Eddie Gormley, and other factors have come into play
yeah,
there. So it adds to I don't know, to Bray as well, like for their point of view to get that. But notably as well, they brought in Callum Thompson he was at Bohemians on loan. But
yeah. Didn't work
that could
out
be
for
an
him, I
interesting
suppose.
one.
But
Yeah, that could be an interesting one. It's hard
I
to know.
think, look, I they're bringing Bray are a team they don't bring ready-made products to the club. I know they bought the looks like I didn't buy they got them. The looks like Gary Shaw, Arden Barty, stuff like that. Fantastic signings, but Bray are known for kind of getting players and making them good. Grown into the League of Ireland, and now I think Cal could definitely do a job for them.
Yeah.
I think he's good on the ball. Like he obviously has the ability, he has technical ability. He wouldn't be at Wolves otherwise. But I think the way Bray play, I think it could definitely suit him.
Right. So that's fourth, isn't it? We're on to
Yeah,
third.
third,
Getting
like
interesting now.
it is. I've gone for Cabinteely in third. I think Cabinteely, fantastic what they've been doing. If we 4 years ago or whatever turned around and says we'd be talking about Cabinteely going up, we'd be laughed at. I think the job Pat has done, the job Eddie has done, all the coaches, but it's right from under eights up that club, and that's your club. I think they've kind of done it the opposite way. They've kind of started. Everyone starts with the first team and walks their way down. Cabinteely have started right from the bottom. They have a ready-made club there, and now they're gone into League of Ireland, and I think that will stand to them. Give it another couple of years. I could be frightened they could come a real force in Ireland. Never mind the first division.
Yeah.
With the product, the player coming through, I think they have a real togetherness. I honestly, Stradbrook isn't the place you want to watch a match in though. That's an only thing.
It's a little bit like Belfield in that sort of
I
way
was
as well.
only there.
There,
I was
there
only
isn't even a stand. There's a
no.
tiny little. It's
I was
almost
there
like
last year.
edge. Yeah.
I was there last year for the Leinster Senior game, Pats and Cabinteely, and it was pissing rain. Now, I mean bucketing down. I'll never forget it. And like there's no stand, there's no, we were under a big tree, but it was just it's not a ground that should be in the Premier Division as such, but that we shouldn't take that away. There's nothing they can do about that. I don't think we should take it away from the team, the work that they on. They came very close last year, and I think maybe they could give it a right crack this year, because I'm looking. I'm just going to talk about the promotion and relegation. On paper, you think the Premier Division team is going to win either way, but you know the results haven't gone their way all season. And if you're in the promotion race, your confidence is high. You're going into that game after winning, let's probably 5 games on the bounce, after winning the playoff, semi-final, stuff like that. I think like their tails are going to be up and the Premier Division tails are down. It takes a lot of resilience from the Premier Division. I know Finn Harps, I was at the game, Finn Harps and Drogheda last year. And, you know, it was a fantastic game, a great thing for the league. I think it was brilliant, but you know, anyone, them games, it's a cup final. Well, I know it is essentially a cup final, but that's the way it's played. Anyone could win it on any day. Well, I think Cabo could definitely become a real force.
Yeah, and like they had a great start to the season as well. They're 3 wins down, so they've 9 points. So that gives them a bit.
They've lost a few of their players as well.
Yeah, Rob Manning in particular.
Jack Chew at the back.
Yeah, Jack Tew's an excellent player.
Yeah,
really good player, very good kind of leader and passer from the back as well. Like he's a good player. Like Cabin Thiele have added the likes of Labutus. He was there last season, but he started the season very well. He's like 19, an attacking midfielder, 2 goals, 3 games. You know, Barnes has scored 3 goals in 3 games. You've got
we spoke about.
So they've mixed the goals up now that Manley has gone. So Pat Devlin has found a formula. He's lost his top man, and obviously still you've Kieran Marty Waters, obviously as well.
I was looking. I think I spoke about it before. I met the Cabin Thiele team out, and I couldn't believe the togetherness in the squad.
Yeah,
and like they're on a dance floor and they're singing "We Are Going Up." Like you don't see a lot of League of Ireland teams as such being so engrossed. I know they're playing; it's their job, but you don't necessarily see, like, they don't speak football and talk football 24/7. But I just thought that was very unusual, and it just showed that togetherness. Yeah. And I think there could be a couple of celebrations come the end of the year if I'm invited.
Togetherness, that togetherness could be very important come end of the season as well. So on to second place, Cian.
Now, this is a toss of a coin. Second place, I've gone for Drogheda. I think, like, it's toss of a coin. I'll name first. I've gone first for Longford. And, like, toss of a coin between the two of them.
And what's the difference for you? What edges it for Longford for you or edges it even?
The likes of Manley and you know these type of players coming in with Longford. I think at home, I think Longford are fantastic at home. I think the way they play, the way they set up, they don't play, let's say, like Dundalk style football or anything like it, but they play to their strengths. Darren knows that team inside out from being assistant and stuff like that to Neil. But I honestly think Longford will win it this year. But I'm going to make a statement here, and this is going to come back to bite me. But I think Drogheda will get promoted too.
You think they'll come through the playoffs? Yeah. I would think either way, whoever finishes outside the first out of those two teams has a great chance of going up.
I think the two of them will be up next year.
Yeah, I think you've touched something interesting there. I think Longford have kind of proven that they can nick results when they're not playing at their best. They did win earlier on the season at United Park where they won 1-0, and Drogheda felt like they should have got something out of the game, but they didn't. Longford dug deep and got a result. My question for Drogheda would be, I think personally Drogheda have a better squad overall, but my question is, for me, is can they go and grind out results? They probably didn't quite do that last season. They might do, but can they do it? We don't know that yet.
I think
they have to go to Longford as well later on the season.
Yeah.
Longford 11 points at the moment.
That's why I've gone for Longford first.
Yeah.
Because now I can't. I can't see Drogheda going to Longford and getting a result. Now, it's unpredictable. Football's unpredictable. The league's unpredictable. They could very well do. But I think, like, it's all well and good beating Longford in the City Column, but I do think, like, they have to win every other game, and I just fancy Longford to win that. But I think the two of them will be in the Premier Division next season.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. We must note that Longford brought in Lido Lavetti. I never get.
Yeah, he's
that could be an interesting one because that should add to their firepower. I don't know if he can hit the ground running or not, but he's been working at Dundalk with a lot of good players, so you'd like to think he's a bit of an addition there, wouldn't you?
I spoke with Vinny.
Yeah.
Before, and he was so, like, he literally loves him. He thinks he's a fantastic player, rates him very highly. One thing I like about Vinny is that he gives them a chance, and I think now him being loaned out to Longford will definitely help him. He's going to get game time. He's not there to sit on the bench. He's going to get game time.
If he makes a kind of an impact like Doom Williams made at Bray and at Lone last season, then Longford have more of a chance of finishing top as well.
Yeah,
there's a possibility that we can never predict what's going to happen, but there is a possibility that the only reason why he's not in the Dundalk side is because of Hooban, and we'll get on to it later, Georgie Kelly. So we'll get on to that later. But that's the only reason. Like, I mean, he's just blocked. His path is blocked. Very simple.
Yeah, no, I fancy Longford to lift the title this year, and they're fantastic. It's the same as Drogheda. It's a flip of a coin. I think they're two clubs who are doing things the right way again, and I think there's a togetherness with both squads. It's a toss of a coin, but I think it's going to come down to that game in the City Column.
The slight advantage, or not advantage, but I'll give kind of a leg up to Drogheda here, is that we've 5 subs, and I do think Drogheda have slightly a better squad than Longford, in my opinion. You've young players coming through at Longford now, like Birmingham and Ryan O'Shea, who are impressive young players. Jordan Adeyemo, and we all know Chris Lyons, a player that is a fantastic player. I've seen him play against Pats in the recent friendly, and honestly, that guy should be in the Premier Division, Chris Lyons. His ball control, his strength he really is, and he's one of those strikers he doesn't have to score to influence the game, but well capable of scoring as well. So it's going to be interesting. The first division, in my view, is going to be very, very interesting. I'm actually looking forward to that as well as the Premier Division.
Yeah, can't wait for that now.
Because, I'll take note of these, and we'll come back at the end of the season and see how we get on.
I won't be in.
Exactly, I'll be sick that day.
Get me hair done.
Yeah. We'll move on to the Premier Division, and we're going to start with 10th. And I'm just going to put it out there, no fan thinks they're going to finish 10th, but somebody has to finish 10th. I'm sorry, guys. And I think I know what you're going to go with, but I'll let you go ahead.
It's awful. This is torture. If you put this on me now, and I have to say it's torture, but I've gone for Finn Harp's 10th.
Yeah. I thought, one.
Finn Harps are the top side. I'm contradicting myself here. Finn Harps, they're a good side. You always know what you're going to get up in Finn Park. Ballybofey is a tough place to go. They will grind out. They will fight for every point. But I just think they'll finish 10th this year.
Like, I'm not pandering myself, but I honestly think there isn't a weak side in the division. I've talked about this many times. I've told people, everyone this, there is not a weak side in the division. There's no one in the division going, they're weak. They're definitely like, if any of these teams were in the first division, they'd be challenging near the top, very close to the top as well. So there is no weak side. Ollie Horgan is a shrewd manager. He's a lot of experience at Finn Harps as well. And if they were to stay up, that might help them. The likes of McElhenney, Dave Webster, as you know, Curtaro's still there, and I'm sure he has an influence in the dressing room. Mark Russell's a good player as well. They have got good players, but the issue I would have with them is that, especially, you keep coming back to this, the 5 sub rule. Do they have the squad to compete with the other teams? I'm not so sure.
No.
Yeah.
So I've gone for Harps 10th, and I apologise. I know a lot of Harps fans. 9th is a big one. And, I've changed it 6 times if you look at the sheet here. I've gone for Waterford in 9th.
Interesting.
The reason why I've gone for Waterford in 9th is the likes of Michael O'Connor, who's out injured, the star man as such, the captain. I just think like it's going to be a getting to know you period. Now, they could literally blow me out of the water and they could finish fourth, and I will hold my hand up. But like, I'm just not overall impressed. I think Waterford will finish ninth. But
sorry, Keane. I think Waterford are actually one of the toughest teams to predict, if not the toughest team to predict.
That's it.
It's a new manager, a lot of new players. As you say, O'Connor injured. There's been talk of Darryl Murphy, but he will be available, but he's not going to be available for about a month. And how will his impact be when he comes back from injury with only 6 games left?
The reason I have them ninth is because I know a lot of the other teams, and you just don't know where Waterford are going to finish, and you don't know what way they're going to come back. You don't know what it is. They've lost a few players. I honestly think it's going to be tough for him coming in, but he seems upbeat. He's been looking at his interviews and stuff like that. He seems upbeat. He seems happy. He seems like a good man to have around the league. Like, for Waterford fans who have supported the club for the years, I hope it's a success. I hope he gets up. I'm kind of contradicting myself again. Look, I am in everything I'm doing here. But
yeah, you have to pick 10th, 9th, 8th. This is the thing, isn't it? So, but yeah.
I'll cover me own arse here. They could easily finish 5th, but I'm going to say 9th.
But interesting, I don't know if you know this because I've only seen this morning now, but it looks like Curtis Byrne, believe it or not, is signing for Waterford.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he has been on trial at Cork City. So that makes it a bit more interesting. Jack Connolly looks like he's coming in. He was at Sunderland, the young defensive midfielder. And Charlie Lyons from Cove Rambers.
Before all these were linked through.
Yeah, say that. No, but that's the thing. There's so much news coming out in the last few days. It's hitting you in the face. If you're not looking at your phone for half an hour, you've missed an avalanche of news. You know what I mean? I had a video the other day and I had to re-edit because of it's junior sign for Sligo. So I had to get it in, But anyway, we'll get back to that in a few minutes. But yeah, I mean, Waterford, it's hard to know. They're going to bring in more players as well, but we don't know what kind of impact those players are going to have. We really don't. And we don't, let's be honest, we don't know what kind of impact John Sheridan's going to have. Let's be honest. I know he's a big reputation and he was a very good player. I've seen him play, but we really don't know. So that's Waterford in 9th, on to 8th.
I've gone for Sligo in 8th.
Yeah.
I had Sligo in 9th about 6 times. But they signed Junior. And it's a player I rate very highly. I seen him play last year for Derry. He was exceptionally good. I think to get him in Sligo, like Liam, he always pulls a player or two out. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He pulls players left, right, and centre, and he gets quality in. And they were crying out for a winger, and now they've got one. And I think Junior, whether he's going to play up front, we don't know. We'll see what Liam has planned. But him alone, I think that's 8 to 10 goals for the rest of the season. And that's the difference.
Even contributions, like he can assist as well. And as you say, the biggest problem Sligo have had for me is creativity. And Ronan Coughlin, for me, is a good player. And he's often been isolated. I mean, completely isolated. There'll be a gap of 20 yards between him and the midfield. Junior's going to help with that. Yeah. So, in a way, it might improve Coughlin's game as well. And this is the point. It's not just all about...
And it's when players come...
That's going to give the squad a boost, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to give it a boost. Like, this player knows the league. He's played for Derry, so we're not going into the unknown. Let's say as such with Waterford, we're kind of going into a bit the unknown. I think... I hope... This is Liam Buckley side of me coming out now. I really do. I hope he finishes 8th. I think it'll be a successful season for him. But with everything that he's had to deal with. And I think 8th is for Sligo.
The fact that he's persuaded Junior to go there in a short season when they're bottom with no points, I think says it all about his
Liam is just... Liam, players go out and play for Liam.
Yeah.
Players might be, let's say, not as good as any of the other teams going out, but like, let's say, give Pats for an example. Them players would be going out to Oriel Park on Friday if Liam was the manager of Pats. I'm not saying they're not going to go out on Friday, but they're going to go out with this belief that they can win. Liam instills this belief in the players, and he just he gives them that license to play and express themselves. And like I spoke about previously, give him time. Liam is a fantastic manager. He's well proven. I think a run in the cup and an eighth finish, you can't give out about that.
Yeah, and I mean, Junior, if I was a Sligo fan, I'd be very excited by that signing because, as you say, it's not unknown. 14 goals last season from the wing, exciting play. Could link up well with Ronan Coughlin, who needs that badly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The rest of the team is quite industrious, but they needed that sprinkle of quality, didn't they? And Liam plays a style of football, but it's very hard to play that style of football if you haven't got the style of players to suit. And Junior certainly does suit the style.
That's one thing I respect with Liam. He always plays. Whether he has the players or not, we go and play. Like we've played up in Oriel Park, and this is no disrespect to the players that play it. I keep going back to Oriel Park because we got beaten, and now we got beaten a decent scoreline, but like he had Sam Verdon, Graham Kelly, in the centre. I can't think who was with him. I think it was Pat Craig.
Yeah.
We went to play the three of them against Dundalk's midfield, and we went to play, and we played. And, you know, I have so much respect for Liam for that, what he does. He always gives them license to play. He never shuts up shop. Now, it has come back to bite me in the arse. We've all seen that. But, you know, to have the confidence in your players to do that, knowing, he knows at the back of his head he doesn't have a fantastic squad. But I think eighth finish for Liam would be fantastic for Sligo Rovers.
Yeah, definitely, and something to look forward to again the next season if they can manage to keep Junior.
100%.
So on to seventh, Cian.
Seventh, I've gone for Cork. I think reasonable. Could easily find themselves ninth. Easily find themselves ninth with the likes of Waterford, Sligo, stuff like that. I can't see them pushing for Europe. I think they'll just consolidate themselves into seventh. I think it'll be a mid-table finish. Couple of players coming in. That's the reason. We consolidate them seventh. If they didn't get a couple of players in, we don't know how these players are going to go.
They might get in as well. So
yeah,
you know what I mean. Bringing back the like Darling and Alulu from their initial loan spells, they're back in loan again, was key. If they'd lost them, I think
that's good. Them players are good and stuff, but I don't think they'd get into any other team. I think seventh for Cork, and I think that's speaking very highly of Cork at the minute, having them seventh.
I think they take that because they've had a few injuries. Talked about it. Connor Davis and Charlie Fleming are out for the season. I'd be interested to know why they didn't take up Curtis Byrne, if I'm honest with you, because we've talked about this before. Graham Cummins obviously is back in there, but there's talk about him going to centre back. They've no striker seemingly. I mean, Curtis Byrne does play up front.
I would say as well, having known Neil, he knows what he's doing. If he's not signing Curtis Byrne, he obviously has someone else coming in, because if he wasn't signing Curtis Byrne, there's something wrong with him. And I honestly think that he definitely has someone else to come in. I think that Neil knows exactly what he's doing, but seventh, and that's being generous, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I think that'd be a very good position. It's funny though, saying seventh would be a very good position for Cork City, considering where they were only a year or two ago. But there you go. That's how football is in the League of Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the sixth, Cian.
I've gone for Shelbourne in sixth.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fantastic for them, but I still think it'll go down to the last couple of games for Europe. I think I can't see many teams beating them.
Do you think Shelbourne are in contention, genuine contention for a European spot?
Oh, 100%. With the players they have, with the squad they have a lot of young players on the benches and stuff like that. But I know Ian Pearcey. I've worked with Ian for about 2 years, and he's so engrossed into it. What a fantastic manager they have there. The youngest in the league, and it just is. He just gets that instant connection with the fans, and there was a lot of discontent with Shells over the years. They were kind of in the gutter as such, and they were kind of a laughing stock. A lot of teams were going to Talca Park, going to win, but he changed all that. And I don't think he gets enough credit. People look at the first division and they say, last year and say Shells should have won that. And it kind of took. I don't think Ian got manager of the year even, didn't he? No.
Did he? Did he?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
We'll have to check that up. I thought he did, but I'm not 100%
I
sure.
hope he did.
Yeah, I think he should have anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think he got enough credit even that he deserved. Like that club, from where they were a bang average to bottom of the table, first division club, and within a year to transform it, I do think they'll consolidate fourth, fifth, sixth. I think that'll be their position in the top in that end of it. But I think a top half finish would be just unbelievable for Shells, and to finish sixth would be fantastic as well. Like they have, like for what they've done to come up, they're a breath of fresh air. They play a high tempo football. I think they have players that suit their needs. They need dirty defenders. They have them. They need ball playing midfielders. They need players that are going to get on the ball and drive. To get in your face, they make it hard. I watched the full game back of Dundalk and Shells first day of the season. First half, I was saying Shells were poor.
I was there as well. I think in the first half they showed Dundalk too much respect.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. Second half, they get in their faces, and that's what Shells do best. They get in your face, they make life tough, they fight for every ball, and yeah, I think sixth, but they could easily fall into that fourth European spot.
You're thinking now going to St. Patrick is going to be a difficult game, and most teams consider a point a fairly decent result.
Yeah, I think they'd be looking for a run the cup. No, run the cup.
Definitely. A couple of signings as well. Brian McManus, young midfielders, come in from Preston as well, and Eric Malloy, who I don't ever remember who was at Wexford, but he's played in Poland for the last 2 seasons. He was impressive apparently in a friendly against Drogheda lately, and it looks like he's coming in as well. He was named on the team as opposed to trialist, so that would suggest that he's signed without it being announced, let's say. So obviously they're adding their midfield as well, and Gary Deegan, Daniel O'Reilly. They've got good players, as you say. Kieran Kilduff, Carl Shepherd, experienced players.
Ryan Brennan. Keep going,
lads. So they've got that good blend and mix.
Yeah.
And they're so hard to beat. That's their number one template. We are hard to beat.
Now, I don't, personally, as a Pats man, Shells is my rival. When I was growing up, Shells was your rival.
It would have been, yeah.
It wasn't really Rovers. It was Shelbourne. Everyone wanted to be Shelbourne. Pats wanted to be Shelbourne.
I understand that Pats and Shelbourne was, in the 90s, by the way, probably a bigger derby than Shamrock Rovers and Bows.
Yeah, 100%. But
in that decade, it was.
I was growing up and it was always Shelbourne. That was the team we wanted to be. But I think from Pats fan, it's not great. But from a league point of view, I think there's exciting times at Shelbourne. I think they're on the brink of something good.
100%, and they do have a bit of backing as well, we might add, which is good as well. And there's no doubt they're staying in the Premier Division anyway.
Oh yeah,
that out there, I can't see them in contention to go down at all. So that's great news for Shelbourne. And as you say, it is great for the league. I think Shelbourne, a good Shelbourne side, is great for the league. So we went for what's that, 6? Are we on to 6? Yeah, we're on to 5th now. Top 5.
Now I changed this again. I'd say 30 times. Right. In 5th, at one stage I had Pats. But now I've changed that to Derry.
I think I know why, but we'll come back to that later. Right, go to Derry first anyway in 5th.
I've put Derry in 5th. I'm going to talk about 4th as well because I'm going to make me point about it. I've gone for Pats in 4th.
Yeah.
So the reason I've gone with that is because looking on paper, I would put the two sides down and I would say Pat's starting 11, albeit if everyone's fit, should be better than Derry's starting 11. Yeah. Doesn't not always the case. You always get surprises. But I think, especially Pat's playing Derry next Monday night in Richmond, I think that's going to go as early and probably as stupid as it sounds. I think that's a 6-pointer for Europe. I think it's going to be a big, big game for both teams. But obviously, Pats, I think, now this is off the top of my head, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think we're in the Brandywell on the 18th of September.
Now, to be honest, I haven't checked that far.
No, that's just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I think we're there the 18th of September. in the Brandywell. That's coming up to the close end of the season, so that could swing it in Derry's favour. Who knows? But
Mind
I
you,
think,
just quickly, Pats have a decent record at the
yeah,
Brandywell. So,
Pat's always playing the
yeah.
Brandywell, and
So,
I
yeah,
think I've gone for Derry fifth, but I
Pats.
think the games against Pats in fourth, let's say, I think they're going to be 6 pointers. Now it's not. It's all well and good beating Derry, or it's all well and good Derry beating Pats, but they have to beat the teams around them. And
Have to show consistency. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
they have to be consistent. But I think if both teams on paper are better than the other teams, I think the both of them, it'll come down to whether Derry beat Pats or Pats beat Derry.
I sense Derry aren't finished in the market yet. I know they've brought in some players. Adam Hamill, who's a winger and looks like a physical player. He's won English under-21 cap. And James Akinkunde, I think his name is. Another guy who looks very physical, but a striker. But 2 goals in 57 games for Maidstone. It's not very
we
inspiring,
don't
is
look.
it?
That's the reason I've gone for Pats and Fort again. Like I says, I know Pats inside out. We know players. We know the team. Derry are bringing players in. The Derry team, as I know it now at the minute, isn't as strong as the Pats team. That's not to say the likes of Adam Hamill and stuff like that are going to be better and they're going to progress. Adam has had a fantastic career, but it's not to say he's going to set the world alight in the League of Ireland. We don't know.
And I
But
think the other point, sorry, Dean, I think the other point with Kerry, with Derry is as well is that they were pretty certain they were going to get Junior. There was talk about Parkhouse. So suddenly there's a bit of a disappointment around the Brandywell that they're not getting those players that would really elevate them and possibly put them as favourites.
And as well, the news lately that Declan Devine could be going the end of the season. Now, like that's big news for Derry. I think that could be a reason why Junior didn't come. You don't know. Like we're going to speak about Georgie Kelly in the future, but maybe that could be a reason why he didn't sign. I know Derry were allowed to speak to him, so maybe that could be a reason. We don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We're looking at it as fans of the league, but I think fifth for Derry. And a cup run. I know I keep saying a cup run is very hard, but not every team can win a cup run. But if they get in the top 5, I think that'd be job well done, Declan Devine.
Now, on to Pats, as you mentioned there, it looks like they're going to be bringing in David Titoff, who's a right back for Brentford. He's played in a few trials, and Jordan Gibson, a 22-year-old winger from Bradford. Hard to judge them. They're not officially signed, but they've been on trial now for a couple of games, so I'd like to think it's likely. Dean Clark has left the club due to work commitments, so obviously he's looking for another right back, because he was using Dean Clark as a right wing back at times.
I think Dame's kind of wasted there. If I'm honest.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
I think he has fantastic. Like, it didn't really kick on from a Pat Dean Clark, but he signed in 2018 season, number if I'm right. And he started like a train. He was fantastic. I was saying, where's this fella been all the time? Because we got him from Limerick. And then after a couple of games, it was he kind of never got going as such. I think last year he was kind of a shining light under Harry Kenny. I think when we played with Dean Clark, I think he offered us something that we didn't have. Like we never had a player that ran or he ran in behind. I think Dean done that very well. He will be a loss, there's no doubt. But I don't think he'd be a loss if he was going to be used as a right wing back. I don't think he'd be a loss. If we were to play him on the wing, 100% a loss. But considering where he played the back end of last season and the start of this season, he's a fantastic player, but he was played out of position. So I'd be happy to see Titoff, if he does come in, a proper right back, come in and use that position.
Yeah, for me, I seen him in the friendly against Rotted as well, and it's often hard to tell because, the far side, he was right back over the far side, so I couldn't get a proper look at him. And for the second half of the near side, he was taken off, unfortunately, so I didn't get a proper look at him. But he wasn't beaten, put it this way. I got a lot of joy down the left in the second half. I don't know what that tells you. Dan Ward played right back. He's not a right back either. So obviously O'Donnell was playing a bit there. feel he could be used right back, obviously, as well. Different type of right back. Titoff looks like a diminutive kind of a full back who can get up and down. Small in stature, but looks quite comfortable on the ball for what I've seen. Gibson, it was hard to judge, I'll be honest. He wasn't really in the game, but 45 minutes, very hard to tell. But we'll get on, I suppose, to the quick story there about George Kelly. Now, strong suggestions that Kelly, as you mentioned before, rejected Derry and is on his way to Pats. If I was to choose one striker in the league, apart from Hooban, obviously, who could come to Pats, it would have been Kelly. If they get that over the line, I think that is a major coup for St. Pat's.
There's no doubt. Like, I think Kelly starts for everybody bar Dundalk.
I think you mentioned that before, yeah.
I think he starts for everybody bar Dundalk, but I'm not counting me chickens yet as a Pats fan. I'm looking at every player that's going to leave Dundalk. Let's face it, is going to be linked to a Pats with the O'Donnell connection. So I'm not getting me hopes up yet. I've heard it's 99.99999% that he's signing, but I think he would add so much quality. Now, we need to.
What do you think he brings, attribute-wise, striker? If he was to sign for Pats, what does he bring for you?
I think he's a fantastic striker, first of all. But let's face it, he hasn't. I know he hasn't got a chance in other hole. We know that, but he hasn't really played many games in the Premier Division. Now Dundalk rate him highly. He scored goals for fun in pre-seasons and in the friendlies there. He is a fantastic player. I think there's going to be a bit of pressure on him wherever he goes now, because he was always like a good signer for Dundalk, and he was always thrown on and stuff like that. But now he's going to be a main man. Now he's going to be the one people are going to be looking at him to score, stuff like that. I'm not saying he wasn't like that in Dundalk, but there's more pressure on him now to score, because he is the man to score the goals wherever he goes. And I hope he does come to Pats. I think he'll definitely bring goals to his game. The way we play, we get a lot of balls into the box. I think we always try and play football the right way. I think he's strong. He can hold up the ball. I think he can play in the attacking midfielders, Benson and Forrester, stuff like that. I think he can play, and then he can hold up. He's not an out and out poacher in the box. I think
he's good in the air, I might add as well.
He's fantastic in the air. So we get a lot of crosses into the box. So I think he would be very good for us. I do think he'd be holding the ball a lot up for us, and we'd be looking for Forrester and Benson in behind, running past them and stuff like that. Wingers, Billy King, stuff. I think, he definitely would add so much. And like I spoke about earlier, I do think he will get at least 10 goals wherever he goes this season. And I think within 13 games, if he can score 10 goals, that could be the difference. And that's the reason why I put Pats fourth, because I think he starts for everybody. He's number 9, and that won't change for anyone. What happens? We spoke about last week, Ronan Hale. I think Ronan's going to be that right winger now. Whether he's not an out and out right winger, but he'll be in and around that position. And I'm looking forward to seeing the partnership if he signs.
No, that'd be great, because as you say, I think he could get the best out of Hale as well, because Hale is not a striker. Again, I watched them one half again, but obviously I've seen Hale before. Just at times up front on his own, it just doesn't suit his game at all. It really doesn't, unless someone plays a really high line and he can run in behind, which is rare in reality. But interesting stuff. St. Pat's there. So we'll move on to third. I think I know who you're going to pick third. I've no clue the first two though.
I think everyone knows it. It nearly picks itself. I think Bows are solid on for third. I think again, fantastic season for them if they finish third. They could easily, if they win 10 of their 13 games, they could easily be up there. Who knows? They need to beat Dundalk and Rovers, I feel.
They've already lost Rovers as well, so we might throw them there. Yeah.
I think they need to beat them teams if they want to try and catch up on the top two. I think what Keith has done, like I spoke about, it's like people keep saying Bowser a part-time club fighting in Europe. I think, like I said it before, I think it's an absolute insult to Keith to Trevor, to all the players, to call them a part-time team. Yeah, they are a part-time club as such. Yeah, by name, but the work they do, like I have honestly, I have such praise for Bowes, which is strange, but I have such praise for what they do off the field as much as they do on the field. I do need to add, it is a shame that they are playing in Europe now this season in the Aviva. I think that's a huge shame for the team itself. Look, dressing rooms, facilities, stuff like that all play a part with the social distancing measures, and I think they could fit about in the little cabin in the away end. I think you'd probably fit about 2 players in the social distancing measures. But no, that will hurt a lot of Bowes fans. It's like, you know, in the Jody supporting your team in Europe. I know half the ground isn't open. But
for the players, I think, I know the Aviva, playing the Aviva is great and all, but not really. If there isn't really a crowd there, it doesn't make a difference. But they know the pitch in Dalymount. They know
like
how.
Dundalk played Legia.
Yeah.
And now I think there was 20 odd thousand there. But it felt like there was nobody there. So you're going to be playing now totally behind closed doors. And obviously, whoever they play, I think Bowes personally would be hoping for an away leg. I think they could, because like this team is going to come over here. These teams are going to come out from the back end of nowhere. I'm going to be walking out into the Aviv and I'm going to be like, I fancy myself here, and like it happens. Now, I don't know what they'd be hoping for, but I think Bowes fans just want to go to the match, and that's like, I feel for them. I do. I know a lot of Bowes fans, and I was there as a coach at one stage, and I got to know a lot of people, and I've a lot of time for the fans because they've stuck with the club through thick and thin. And I genuinely think they can finish third this season, get into Europe next season. They're strong contenders for the cup. Strong contenders.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing for Bowes, well, they haven't brought in any players, and I don't think they will either, because they
I don't think they have to.
They don't need to. They're settled as it is, and they've got a squad there together that, as you said before about togetherness, a great togetherness in the Dalymount dressing room. And I think bringing in a player too would probably rock the boat a little bit for where they are, and maybe finish this season and then look at the situation for next season. Yeah. But at this minute in time, you're right, and I think that's where they have the advantage over some of the other maybe European contenders that we've mentioned before, that they have a set of squad. They kind of know, you more or less know what their best team is, more or less.
You know what? And I think it's like it's a testament to Keith and Trevor. It just shows you, and I know I probably have said it before, but this year was the first year they got players back. They lost Darrell Leahy, but they got Casey, Lunny, Dano Mandreo. I know he signed a 2-year deal in the summer, but that last summer. But to have these players signing contracts and staying at Bowes and are happy at Bowes, I don't know. I think by far they have the best dressing room in the league. I think they have the best atmosphere in the league between them. They have a good togetherness. We spoke about Cabinteely's togetherness earlier on. I think Bowes have by far the team with the most togetherness in the squad.
It also looks like they've probably a better squad, or certainly a deeper squad than a lot of the other sides as well. I mean, they're up to 4 centre backs that, you know what I mean, would get on a lot of teams.
I know a few English people who sent this to videos over the world have been looking at them, and they don't really know much about the League of Ireland. And for people, I'd say, without trying to disrespect anyone, I think Keith Long is kind of like, the likes of, what's his name, Chris Wilder and stuff like that. I think he's just that type of manager that he just makes like half decent players look amazing, and I think he gets everything out of that Bowes team. Keith does.
It's like any player to bring in fits in, and it's very hard to pick a player in the last year in a sign for Bowes that you say he was a disaster or he wasn't good enough. It's very difficult to say that, and obviously that's down to the coaching staff.
The recruitment, that's the recruitment team. First of all, I think at Bowes, they've no egos, they've no nothing. I think every player plays the exact same. I think Keith is Keith and Trevor have worked tremendously over the last couple of years. I know Trevor came in later, but I think the two of them are the perfect partnership. And I fear that Bowes could really, really kick on after this season. If they cement third, they will be really.
To cement third, they have to be their next goal and objective has to be to try and close the gap.
I've no doubt that their challenge this year was to try and close the gap. Do I think they'll do that? Probably not. But I don't think they might close the gap, but they're not going to close that.
Oh yeah, they close it in terms of because there's only 18 games, so there's not. Yeah, but in terms of
I think third, and I can't see anybody taking third position.
No. Second place, Cian.
Second, we said it. Shamrock Rovers in second. I think like nobody's going to run away with it now. It's 14 games, but I think Shamrock Rovers having to go to Oriel and stuff like that. I tipped Dundalk to win the title. I think Vinny, stuff like that. Vinny, the dressing room, like the players Dundalk have. I'm not saying Rovers don't have great players. I think it's fantastic that we have two teams in the league who are going neck and neck. I know Cork have done it for a while, and now they've obviously dropped off. Dundalk have stayed, and Dundalk's standards, Dundalk's professionalism, their fitness, their standards, the way they play, it's. I can't look past Dundalk, and I don't think I will look past Dundalk for a long time.
Based on that, though, what do you think Rovers are actually missing in your opinion?
I still think they're missing a striker. Whether we spoke Dane Williams, whether he comes in as a striker, we don't know what he's going to be like. I know Arden Green is up there. They have Gaffney. I haven't seen Gaffney. Gaffney could be the striker I'm talking about that they need. I don't feel Arden Green is their striker they need. He scores an awful lot of goals. He's very underrated. But if they're going to win a title, they would need, let's say, a Paddy Hooban or stuff like that. I think, and if Rovers got one of them, I'd be fearful because you can't fault the back four. I think Joey is probably towards the end, but I'd say like the likes of Scales is fitting there seamlessly. I think
Lee Grace, in my opinion, is the one central defender in the league. If you're talking about individual players, I think he's good on the ball. He's leadership
in the one team I patched. I think Lee Grace is like he was at Wexford. And he went to Galway and within 6 months then he was in Rovers and that doesn't happen often. And he played every game for Rovers since when he came in. I think he's just that calmness and he's the football does the talking. He's simple, he's effective. To see him getting player of the year last year, I don't think anyone should have taken it off him, in fairness. I think Lee Grace is up there with the top centre halves in the country by a mile, and I'm surprised he's still at Shamrock Rovers. Like I said, I speak about Lee Desmond very highly. I'm surprised Lee Desmond is still in the league, but honestly, I think Lee Grace is obviously up there with the very best in the league, and there's no doubt other clubs will be looking for him.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing going back to Dundalk as well is that they brought in a few players like Nathan, who I know they rate very highly. Joshua Gash is another one. So, you have your McElhennys and your Duffys, but you also have these guys who can come into the side now as well. And
Dundalk
they might lose Kelly, and it'd be interesting because we're talking about Kelly going and Laveto's gone as well. So that may leave them with one striker. So to play devil's advocate, say Tubin gets injured after the first game against St. Patrick Athletic and is out for the season. But this is all ifs and buts, I know that. But I wonder if they're looking to bring someone else in if Kelly goes. I'm not sure who else they have there in terms of a striker. They've got guys who can score goals, but after that,
I think Dundalk could nearly play without a striker and still win games. I think they could play with a false nine. They could play with McElhenney in there, kind of just being there, creating space. The likes of Duffy cutting in, Kelly, who was a fantastic winger, who did come close to signing for Pats under Harry. I think Dan O'Kelly is a fantastic player. Mountney, of course, we spoke
And
about.
add Jordan Flores, who came in last season, but looked
Uh,
like he'd started to settle this season. So that's another addition. A goal
yeah,
scorer.
no, I wouldn't be worried about Dundalk not scoring goals. I think you could take Hubin out of the team, and you could put Chris Shields up there, and you still score goals. That's how good I think they genuinely are. It's the service. If like Hubin's a half decent striker, he wasn't even named. Nobody blinked an eye when he signed for Dundalk. Nobody blinked an eye when any of them signed for Dundalk, really. The likes of Andy Boyle, Brian Garrett, and stuff like that. Now, an average striker up there is all Dundalk need, I feel. Hubin is a top class striker. But if they got an average striker, let's say Narden Green, I think he's got 20 goals. Davy McMillan, I'm sorry, but average for me.
Yeah, he did. He struggled in his career outside of Dundalk, in fairness, didn't he, McMillan?
I never found him.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
That's all I think Dundalk need, but if they have a top class striker, it definitely helps. But Dundalk for me for the title, and I just can't see past them.
You can't see past them. Right, Keane, we'll leave it there for this week. Next week is going to be an interesting one because it'll actually be a review of the games that would have taken place over the weekend. So that's, I think we all have to look forward to that, don't we, in fairness? And it'll be interesting how to look at that back at these at the end of the season. And Cork will probably win the league and Dundalk will probably be relegated now or something.
We'll be going to be holidays.
Cheers for that, Keane. We'll see you next week. All right.
Thank you. All the best. Bye-bye.